Welcome back to Second Breakfast and our ongoing horror discussions, bringing you the best thoughts, theories, and literary analysis this side of the Disney Pixar classic Cars.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
So, full spoiler alert, this movie is best seen not knowing anything about it. It is the most French movie you could ever imagine.
I was going to say, I knew absolutely nothing about this, and I'm so glad that was the case.
And what an experience that was.
Whoa,
but
man.
For those who are okay with spoilers, let me try to tell you what the movie's about. So it's about a serial... Are we past the 30 seconds? All right, now we're good.
Yep.
It's about a serial killer who has sex with a car and is then pregnant, and she's kind of leaking motor oil, and she goes undercover as the returned missing child of a father who's still grieving the lost child and slowly trains to be an EMT while trying to hide the pregnancy of the car.
Yes,
Like
and the
I
fact
said,
that she's a girl. Yes.
Crazy. The most body horror, fucked up French thing you can possibly imagine. It's an incredible ride. It's a great experience. And I think as a work of art, it is utterly fearless and unforgettable.
Every time we see a French horror movie, I think to myself, why don't we see more French horror movies?
Like we said with The Substance, like we thought about when we saw Inside a few months ago, they go so much harder than we could ever imagine.
It is so insane what they do, and that it's so much fun, and it's not just for the sake of the shock value. Like, they're really exploring ideas. And
absolutely.
And that this movie was just a perfect example of that. It was like French horror at its best.
You know that meme of like if you gave a Diet Coke to a Victorian child that they'd like explode
it would kill
on the
them.
spot?
Yeah.
I love the amount of like hand wringing. We watched the Oscars a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the way people were talking about The Substance of like, ooh, it's so over the top and scary. It's like one scene of this movie would just explode those people.
Right. And The Substance was great, by the way.
It was. But this is so over the top in a great way. It is fearless. But the more I thought about it afterward, because I literally couldn't stop thinking about this movie, it stuck with me harder than anything we've watched in the last couple of years. It really is just magnetic. I realized that I think the touchstone for this movie, in the same way we've done multiple episodes about things that feel like a meditation on or a response to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Totally.
I'm thinking of Ty West's X.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think this movie is very much in conversation, in not at all derivative. This is not an insult at all. I think it's very much in conversation with Rosemary's Baby.
Absolutely. I mean, that's like the original like body horror in terms of like babies and pregnancy. Like that's the one that's like, oh, if you're a woman, this is really going to freak you out. And this one like really escalates that. And I think the thing that freaked you out the most about the movie Inside was also the freaky pregnancy horror. Am I right about that? Which is interesting because you yourself can't get pregnant, but it's still so upsetting and intimate and personal and freaky.
It's the most brutal form of body horror, I think, is when it's about pregnancy.
I think so. Well, because then there's babies involved, and that's like the saddest, scariest thing ever. So.
And I've already made this joke to you, but I'm saying it again on the podcast because I want credit for it. An alternate title for this movie could have been Rosemary's Buick.
That's right. I think that would have been really great.
Thank you, because this is like Rosemary's Baby, which we also did an episode on. Go check that out. That was a lot of fun. We talked about Jane Austen and Nietzsche. I loved that episode.
That's right. It was cool.
This is also about the horror of the human experience, and I think what could be the most grotesque or horrific or fucked up version of the human experience, which is procreation.
Right.
And it is so twisted, it is so exaggerated, it's almost like a living metaphor. In the same way the devil in Rosemary's Baby can be read 100 different ways as a metaphor, I think the Cars work that way here.
Sure.
Where it's kind of about assault or power or desire, the way she's kind of dancing on the car at the beginning of the movie, and then it becomes a different thing later. It's about objects of desire, it's about control, it's about freedom. But the thing that really stuck with me, and this is where I want to go back to that Texas Chainsaw Massacre comparison, because I think Pearl is also a meditation on specific aspects of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
For sure.
The enduring image from Rosemary's Baby, for me, is the choice at the very end, where Rosemary decides to stay with the devil baby and raise it, and she almost feels helpless where this is her baby. Regardless of what it is or if it's the Antichrist, she still wants to be with her child and protect it and raise it. And there's such a beauty, a tragedy, a humanity in that choice. I feel like this entire movie is about that.
Yeah.
And I think we take that one choice, which if you zoom out and look at it more metaphorically, that choice is this the helplessness of unconditional love.
Yes.
And it is a love that is paternal, maternal. It's the relationship between a parent and a child.
Absolutely. That's the biggest theme, I think, here.
Yes.
Is paternal and is parent-child love. Like, that's the biggest thing here.
Because the movie starts as this serial killer thing.
Right.
And there's that whole car connection, and then she has sex with the car, and it's a whole other thing. But it's almost like the movie, plot-wise, genre-wise, thematically, it completely turns on a dime halfway through. This is part of why I keep calling it so fearless.
Yeah.
And it becomes an entirely different movie when you introduce the police are after her, so she goes undercover and she turns herself into the cops as, hey, I'm this rescued missing child from 30 years ago, and that's why I look so different. She shaves her head in the bathroom.
Breaks her nose.
And she kind of binds her chest, so she's pretending to be a boy who's been returned and this missing child, and it becomes this drama with the father.
What's interesting, though, is there is still a lot of that parent-child relationship stuff in that first half. I mean, the first scene is her in the car with her dad, and you see she doesn't have a very great relationship with her dad. And then when she's become an adult, it seems like she's still living with her parents, and you can tell that their relationship is not good. Like, they don't really talk to each other. There's a lot of distance and awkwardness and lack of communication. And, I mean, big spoiler, she kills her parents. And so you sort of see that transformation where she goes from having this really fraught relationship with her parents. Maybe it's that she's been horrible to them, or maybe it's that they've never loved her the way that she should be loved. So then when she meets this fake dad, Vincent, and starts to experience that unconditional love, it transforms her as a person. And then I think that then in turn transforms her own relationship with her unborn child.
Sure, because I think the drama of the movie becomes, is he going to realize that this isn't actually his son magically returned to him?
Right.
And like the end of Rosemary's Baby, where it hits you like a great drama does. It doesn't stick with you in the way a horror movie can freak you out or stay with you.
Sure.
That last moment has such a yearning and a melancholy to it in Rosemary's Baby. The performance from the father in this movie is absolutely heartbreaking. I don't know if a horror movie has ever made me tear up or ache as much as this movie has. And it's because, I mean, I guess we already did the full spoiler thing.
Yeah.
It's that he does know that this isn't really his son magically returned to him.
I think he doesn't at first, but he does after a while.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, the spoiler by the end of the movie.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But he doesn't care. And that it's still just these two people who don't have anyone, who come to accept and lean on each other. And it is so heartbreaking.
Yes.
It's so beautiful. It's so tragic. It is so, I mean, there's this sense of moving the goalposts. There's a desperation to it where they know this isn't the life they wanted or think they might deserve, but it's all they have at the end of the film.
Absolutely.
And I thought it gave me that same ache, that same melancholy, that same universality that the end of Rosemary's Baby did. And I wasn't expecting that, because
I wasn't either.
When we got tickets to this, I specifically didn't tell Maggie anything. I just said, it's the most French movie I can imagine.
And I was like, great, sign me up. Sounds good to me.
And all I knew was that it has sex with the car, and wherever we go from there, I knew there was some body horror stuff and it would get all fucked up.
Cool.
I wasn't expecting it to be this level of powerful.
Right. Neither was I. Yeah. I again was like, I'm here for the fun and the grit and the nastiness.
Yeah.
I really didn't know it was going to be this emotionally intense. But, you know, like, interestingly, I think things like The Substance and Inside and Red Rooms, which we talked about recently, these like French or French adjacent horror films, all have that to them. They are like what you remember, like when you first think about them, you think about the freaky horror. Like Inside, you think about, you know, stabby stab of parts. And when you think about The Substance, you think about the stuff at the end. But there's also the deep emotional, like fraught tension of the whole thing, and like the larger themes that are being explored. And those, I think, hit really hard in all of those movies.
It's not just this intensity of imagery or of graphic, bloody, gory horror. It's the intensity of theme and plumbing of ideas and experience. I feel like in the American context, it's never both of those things.
Yeah. Sometimes it is, but it's rare.
It's incredibly rare.
Yeah, and I'm not, and maybe it's not fair for me to fully generalize an entire nation and culture of films, but the French films I've seen all hit both of these, elements really well, and that's pretty cool.
We're both fairly new to this French horror, I don't know, hobby that we're getting into.
Yep.
But all 4 have absolutely floored me.
Mm-hmm.
So I absolutely, down in the comments, if you can recommend more French horror to us,
please,
that will fuck us up and change our lives, please do that. Because
I would love that.
Titane was fantastic.
It was.
Never had any idea where it was going, but the word is enthralled by this film.
Totally.
And it gave me a deeper understanding of Rosemary's Baby, as well as all of those themes that we loved so much from that film. So once again, Rosemary's Buick, Titane, it's an hour and 48 minutes, but I felt like if it had been 3 hours, you couldn't get more out of this story.
Yeah, right.
It felt so complete and exhaustive and comprehensive. I just loved this.
Me too. This was so much fun to talk about. Please let us know what other French movies we should see. What if you've seen this movie, let us know what you thought. We'd love to hear your comments and questions. If you're on YouTube, you can comment down below. Otherwise, you can send us an email or a DM on Instagram. And also, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. This has been so much fun. If you want to support the show even more, you can check out our Patreon. $2 a month. You can support the show and get access to at least one, if not multiple, bonus episodes per month, plus the whole back catalog. We have a lot of horror in there. We talk about and we have a female body horror episode, especially
yes,
specifically.
We do. That's part of our roundup series, the Breakfast Buffet, which always rolls together a couple works of art. There's almost always some horror in there.
Yeah, because we see a lot of horror. So check that out. Also, check out Cam's latest book, Lemon Tarts in Space. It is not French horror, but it is still a delightful time if you need to refresh and take a breath after watching the horrors unfold in these movies. Check out Lemon Tarts in Space.
Dark comedy. It's a cancer comedy.
Yeah, it's dark.
It's fucked up in its own way.
It's so much fun. It's so good. Cam is so talented. Y'all really got to check him out. The book is available as a regular novel. You can read it in physical or ebook form, or you can listen to the fully produced audio drama. It's about 3 hours long. It's fantastic. Link is in the description down below. Thank you all so much for listening and supporting the show, and we'll catch you back here in a few days with another brand new episode.